T-Fit here with Fit Bully TV. Guys, we're going to talk a little bit about whelping today. Here's the thing. I'm a not necessarily a superstitious person, but I don't count what I can't count on. And what I mean is the dogs now have reached their 5th week mark. And so far, so good. We had a hiccup, a dog that was aspirating, had aspiration pneumonia. So today we're going to talk about 3 things to have or be mindful of, aka to do within the first 72 hours. Here's number 1. Most dogs and puppies do what? They come out, their involuntary system's not working. Now the irony is that they can suckle, they can walk a little bit, but their organs have yet really began to formulate. So they have a problem processing and really pushing out pee and poop. So they need to be stimulated. First things first, 2 killers of puppies: hypoglycemia, hypothermia. The minute you get your dogs, they get into a whelping box or whelping situation. For one, make sure the mother doesn't squish them. So hopefully you got a thoughtful mother. Our heating lamp fell. If you feel the need to have a heating lamp, have a heating lamp. Make sure the heating lamp is 3 feet above the box, because it will cook some dogs now. And if the dogs also get too hot, the heat does what? Naturally, heat dehydrates us. You know, when you're in the heat, you're like, you just need some water. That's one of the things that'll happen too, so you don't want to over warm the dog. You don't always need a heating lamp if you have a very active mother. What I'm saying is, as long as the puppies have each other, or the puppies have the mother, and they're right up under her, 9 out of 10 times they'll stay warm enough, which will prevent hypothermia. If your dog does get into a hypothermic state of being, you want to slowly warm the dog up. Should you get heating pads? In my experience, it kept the dogs a little too warm. How do I know? Because when we had the heating pads down, the dogs would go every direction possible other than trying to be on that heating pad. You're like, oh, they don't like this. And let me be very clear. One point, the dogs whined past 15 minutes. I'm like, yo, what are these dogs doing? Why are they hollering still? Once I moved that heating pad, they were like this. Gone. Eyes still were not open yet. So, heating lamp, heating pad. I like lamps better than I like pads. If you do put a pad down, we still did 2 covers. I had 2 little small Walmart covers over the thing. Guess what? Dog still, it was too uncomfortable for him. And 9 out of 10 times, I keep the room between 75 degrees and 78. And then as we get to week 14, you can drop it down to 70, because week 14, day 14, 10 to 14, especially when the eyes start opening and the system begins to regulate itself, you can drop the temperature down to about 70 still. And that, again, basically it'll be warm enough for the dogs to manage themselves. But mind you, even though we think, oh, it's too cold, too this, too that, guys, there's a lot of dogs that survive out in the wild. I believe there's over 50+ million dogs that are strays, which means they're still humping and having a good time. And both cold and hot conditions, somehow they survive. And a lot of times it's because of a great mother. To be clear, a great mother. That being said, hypothermia, hypoglycemia, a heating lamp, and a comfortable space. If you are whelping the dogs in another place, I would encourage you to get the mother over to this environment a week before. You'd be surprised how stressful it can be on a dog to basically live somewhere and then go somewhere else to deal with their dogs. Doesn't mean it doesn't happen. There are great whelpers out there that come and pick up litters and the mother. I wouldn't do it in my experience. They'd have to come to the place where the dog resides and manage the dogs in the environment. Also, I like to keep an eye on things. Anybody gonna lose a dog around here is gonna be me, which I can manage. So in this video, 3 things again that I would encourage you to have on deck when whelping your pups. Make sure you have a heating lamp. In my experience, it's proven to be more beneficial. The heating pads were a little too much. You want to avoid hypoglycemia, a hypothermia. Hypoglycemia is what? The dog's basically sugars dropping. And why are they dropping? Sometimes because the dogs have not had enough food. Then you've got to start studying good, bad milk. Acid milk is a real thing. And making sure that the mom's pumping out valuable resources to her dogs. These dogs now, as you see, they've hit the pinnacle. They've got there. They've done the thing. Meaning they've made it. We're at week 5, so far so good. Anything could change, but for the most part, this is when I start saying, good. I can shoot 30 videos walking you guys through, and a lot of this stuff will be in great detail on our website, mydogtools.com. One of the other things I would encourage you to do every day for 2 to 3 times a day, pick up every pup, rub it, stimulate it, get it going a little bit, help the mother out. Make sure that the pups are whining and shifting and shaking. Be mindful of movement. If a puppy's head is shrunk like this, a lot of times not only is it cold, but something awful is about to happen. You want to make sure that the pups have an extended neck a lot of times, extended out. That's a whole nother thing. Hypoglycemia, hypothermia, heating lamp. I'm not telling you heating pads are bad. I'm saying in my experience, they kept the dogs a little too hot. And then even more importantly, you've got 2 years to make your mother great, so that she can do the majority of the job. The last thing I would say is make sure that you overstimulate. If you have, not overstimulate, but just help stimulate the dogs. If you have a mother who is not the best at licking and cleaning, Zara was that way at first. I seen her face change. She was cleaning the dog one time and the poop came out and she was like this. I said, oh, she ain't gonna do that. And then all the dogs got constipated. The third time, she got better. Life was good. Stay tuned. Take care of your dogs. Like, subscribe, share. I appreciate everybody for being here because we're about to take you somewhere. Again,